we're going to discuss about the medical device vigilance, focusing on global regulatory system approaches in the medical device sector. My name is Seung-Chan Yu, as introduced, and I will be serving as a moderator of this session. Today, we have excellent panels representing both industry and regulatory authorities across the world. I'd like to extend my sincere thanks to all our panelists, and we have Ms. Rami Awang Jalil from Malaysian Medical Device Authority, and we have Yansu Kim from National Institute of Medical Device Safety Information, or NIDS, from Korea. And then we have Honggu Lee from Awesome Korea. We have Sha Kai Lun from the Health Sciences Authority, HSA Singapore, and we have Jane Lee from Abbott Medical Korea. Over the next 30 minutes, we're going to explore how different regulatory systems around the world approach vigilance, and how industry and regulators can collaborate to improve safety monitoring, and how emerging techniques like AI or digital tools are reshaping this landscape. So as we have invited both industry representatives and regulatory representatives in this session, we have counterpartners in the vigilance field. And the first topic I'd like to discuss is that, we all agree that MDV, medical device, is necessary for all stakeholders, including patients, users, device, and regulators. But however, there is a perception that compared with drugs or pharmaceuticals, medical device often have weaker guidelines, standardization, and implementation for medical device vigilance system. And please share your thoughts on this. Who's gonna start? Yeah, Rami, please.
Okay, thank you for the questions, and thank you for Karya for inviting me as a panel today. So I will answer the question number one as a regulator. So it's true that medical device vigilance, or MDV, faces a different level of complexity compared to pharmacovigilance. So unlike medicines, medical devices come in enormous variety of designs, materials, software, and user environments. So devices also evolve much faster with frequent model changes, software updates, and different usage conditions. So in Malaysia, however, the legal foundation of MDB, we already well established under the Medical Device Act 2012. So this act requires every establishment to maintain an effective post-market surveillance system and to properly evaluate, document, and report any adverse events or field actions to the authority. So to operationalize this MDA has issued the mandatory problem reporting guidance, which outlines the reporting process, timelines, and classifications of incidents. And establishments are also required to have a robust complaint handling and post-market surveillance procedure as part of their quality management systems, while pharmacovigilance, as we know, has decades of global harmonizations. So medical device vigilance is still maturing internationally. So MDA continues to strengthen the standardizations through clearer guidance, digital reporting systems such as our MedCREST, and alignment with regional and international frameworks. So rather than weaker, I would like to say MDV is a different discipline, one that's evolving to meet the unique characteristic of medical device, supported by a solid legal and operational foundations in Malaysia. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your wonderful insight and initiative from Malay. And is there any panelists to want to discuss further?
Maybe I'd just like to add, for my honest opinion, medical devices are more dynamic compared to drugs. Just looking at the components of a medical devices, there are like screws, bolts, which also means that there are more room for malfunctions and defects. So in that sense, the requirements for analyzing and detecting safety signals in all these aspects or for rooms that may go wrong is drastically, maybe more. Then this is also the reason why I think for the WHO GPT, the requirements from the medicines and vaccines, when they actually were applied to medical devices, they were not really relevant. During our pilot WHO GPT with Singapore as well as for Korea, I think WHO realized that some requirements were not applicable. So the requirements were revised. If I'm not wrong, specifically for the vigilance and the market control, the indicators were merged together. Yeah, so in all these aspects, I think as Renee pointed out, it is different. So we cannot match apple to apple. Thank you.
Right. And then we do have the representatives for industry. So as a industry perspective, what challenges have you faced in medical device vigilance processes, and how have you addressed these challenges? You can speak in Korean, I think.
For the question,
So I think there would be the challenges as a company for the medical device vigilance processes, especially globally. You know, the global the vigilance system is not really standardized, such as drug or pharmaceutical areas for in terms of the device. So please. Could you tell me more about your challenges about this, and then how you've addressed these challenges?
okay, I think that this is just a perspective of our company cases, but I would like to say that two parts of the difficulties as a perspective of the company. The first point is that we are very difficult to gather the adverse event reporting and data collection from the field. The reporting of adverse events related to the medical devices is initially determined by the users at the hospital. If the user perceives no association between the event and the device, the case is often not reported as a complaint or adverse event to the company. And even when its report is submitted by the company, obtaining additional information such as whether the issue originated from the device itself or the medical procedure, or sometimes the patient anatomical conditions is extremely difficult. So this significantly limits our ability to accurately diagnose device-related issues and conduct root cause analysis and submit comprehensive follow-up reports to the global regulatory authorities. And second point is that inconsistencies in global regulatory harmonization. It means that I think this is limited to our company. Our company and most of our manufacturing sites are located in US, where adverse events are managed and analyzed according to FDA regulation. Complaints from around the world are centralized and handled by the complaint handling team in US for our company, and adverse event reports are prepared and provided to the importer of Korea in accordance with the FDA regulation basis and along with each country's regulation framework. However, discrepancies in reporting criteria present a major challenge. In the US, adverse events are reported based on the device association, whereas in Korea, the use of the device during the procedure is a determining factor of the reporting. These differences lead to inconsistent interpretation and different coding of the adverse event between the manufacturer and importer of Korea. This leads to confusion and debate during regulatory response in Korea, I think. So these challenges highlight the urgent need for improved global alignment in regulatory interpretations and reporting standards to ensure consistent and effective vigilance practice across every countries. Thank you.
Thank you. So do you have any additional comments from Austin?
지금 패널분들이 얘기하신 거에 저도 전적으로 동의를 하고요. 근데 이제 실제적인 업체에 대한 그 비질런스 시스템에 대해서 의료기기가 의약품과 다른 점을 설명을 좀 드리면, 이건 실무자에 대한 입장입니다. 뭐냐면 의약품은 제품의 효능과 효과가 사용 목적에 부합하게 명확하게 정의가 되어 있어요. 근데 의료기기는 예를 들면 저희가 시술기구가 덴탈에 쓰이는 시술기가 있는 반면에 일반 제네럴 서저리에 쓰이는 시술기구도 있거든요. 그러니까 사용 목적을 어떻게 구분짓느냐에 따라서 제품의 사용 목적이 다르고 사용자가 어떻게 써야 되는지가 구분이 달라질 수 있다는 거죠. 그러다 보니까 뭐 그 필드에서 약간 애드버스 이벤트나 아니면 이벤트가 발생을 했을 때 의료기기 제조업체들은 현재까지 하는 단계가 우리 제품은 문제가 없어라는 걸 밝히는 게 먼저예요. 그러니까 그 사용 목적에 부합하다는 정의를 정확하게 내리지 않은 상태에서 허가를 들어가고 있고, 또한 관할 당국들, 여러 해외 국가의 관할 당국들도 그 이벤트가 발생했을 때 제품의 궁극적인 안전성과 안정성의 문제를 보는 게 아니라 기술 문서가 제출된 것과 다르냐 똑같으냐를 판단하는 그 선에서 끝난다는 게 문제인 것 같아요. 의약품과 의료기기의 차이가. 그러다 보니까 사실은 더 설명을 깊게 설명드리면 의료기기 시술기구는 유저빌리티가 사실 규정이 없었습니다. 옛날에 IS 60601의 부속서로 사용 적합성을 평가하게끔 되어 있었고, 의료기기 부품들은 유저빌리티가 없었어요. 그러니까 지금은 추세가 유저빌리티를 다 확인하는 추세긴 하지만 그런 부분들을 좀 더 강화해서 보고 평가하고 허가를 하고 제품을 판매한다면 약간 이런 비즈니스 시스템이 돌아갈 때도 좀 실효성 있는 프로세스가 되지 않을까라는 생각이 듭니다.
Thanks. Thank you for your comments. And then, in a similar context from a regulatory perspective, what challenges have you encountered, and how were they addressed in Malay, Singapore, or Korea? While you're thinking about your answers to this, or answer to the industry's the perspective from the industry, as a researcher, I think that the research for devices much more complex than drugs or pharmacoepidemiology, because basically the safety or effectiveness of devices are highly dependent on the surgeon's skill or procedure itself, rather than nature of device. That is the difference between drugs and devices. So and then the devices usually is much more expensive, and then there is much more granularity in the devices, as I shown that the models or size can differ between the patients or differ between the devices, but those kind of granularity are not usually available for the research. Then the sample size is quite limited for device as well. In the TAF case example, as I shown that we do not have enough sample size to show some differences in safety or effectiveness between the two groups. So all of this complexity actually makes it hard for researchers to conduct valid or robust epidemiological studies for a medical device compared with the drug, which is the challenge we have. But just once again, from the regulatory perspective, I think I wonder which kind of the challenges you've encountered and how you are addressing these challenges. Please.
Okay, thank you for the questions. So I start first. Okay. So from a regulatory perspective, so one of the key challenges in medical device vigilance is the variations in the quality and completeness of a report that we receive. So some submissions lack sufficient technical details or investigation outcomes, making it harder to confirm the root cause or determine whether the issue is device related. We also face delays in identifying trends. When several isolated complaints may actually point to a wider safety concerns. So that's why to address this, we have developed the systems, the MedCREST, the Medical Device Centralized Reporting System. So we combined all vigilance activities in these systems, including MPR, mandatory problem reportings, field corrective actions and recalls. So we publish the field corrective actions and recalls into everything is into a single digital platform. So the system enables status trackings, video reminders, and easier document uploads, which help standardize submissions and speed up regulatory follow-up. So we also collect informations directly from the field. So we engage with healthcare professionals and facilities to verify whether a practitioner or doctor are experiencing any difficulty with specific medical device. So these hands-on feedbacks help us detect practical, real-world issues that might not always appear in the formal reports. So we also strengthened our guidance document and made our reporting requirements clearly on the MDR portal, so including what incidents need to be reported, the timelines, and the supporting information required. So this helps establishments understand their responsibility and improve the quality of submissions. So altogether, these efforts have enhanced the consistency and timeliness of vigilance reportings. So we hope we enable earlier detections of safety signals and more effective regulatory action to protect the public health.
Thanks for sharing your insight, Jalil. Thanks. Do you have any further comments on this?
We face the same challenges as Malaysia. And on top of that, as Australia TGA pointed out, and I'm sure most regulatory agencies will face, is the increasing number of adverse event reports.
Right.
Yeah, so for Australia, they triage every case on the severity of the adverse event. For us, we also do the same, but we are actually exploring ways to automate, maybe using AI or maybe some tools to help us. So that's the challenge we face. And it's going to take some time for us to implement anything because we require real-world data and validation on a few reiterations. And for Mr. Lee Hong-Ku's comment on the usability, I agree there's no definition what is required to exclude the device problem because I think most of the times for adverse events, it seems like the device is not returned for analysis or it's been discarded. So there's no concrete way to confirm that the device worked as intended. So we would go the other way. So we try and exclude all the other problems to make sure that the device malfunction is not due to the device. So one important factor we can rely on is the frequency. If we see there's an increased frequency for the same event that occurs, we could further analyze to see if it's actually at the same facility. So based on filtering, if there are a lot of events that occur in the same facility, we can actually look at user training rather than more from a device issue point of view. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I want to move on to the next question. So, a single medical device produced by Abbott or Austin can be used globally, and which can lead to various issues in the process as well. Therefore, we think global regulatory harmonization and information sharing can be essential, and then we'd like to hear both industry and regulatory perspective on this. And then I think that is the ultimate aim of this panel discussion or this symposium, that the global harmonizations in terms of the regulatory perspective on medical device. So if you have any comments on that or opinions, please let me know. Let us know.
저도 해당 내용에 대해서 글로벌 규제 조화에서 정보 교류가 꼭 해야 된다라고 사실 생각을 하고 있긴 한데요. 실제로 이제 저희가 해외에서 발생한 그런 정보들 이런 것들을 볼 때는 그 나라의 홈페이지를 들어가서 이제 보통 보게 되는데 뭐 미국은 FDA 홈페이지나 아니면은 뭐 유럽은 유로파 뭐 이런데 유다메드 뭐 이런데 들어가서 보통 보고 있는데 실제로는 아까 그 오스템에서 얘기하신 것처럼 그 한국에서 허가받은 제품과 뭐 미국에 나가 있는 제품이 다른 경우가 모델이 다른 경우가 되게 많아서 사실 그 제품을 찾아내기도 쉽지 않습니다. 그래서 그거를 찾아서 본다는 것 자체가 사실 힘들기 때문에 이렇게 정보 교류가 조금 이루어지면은 그런 어려움을 좀 덜지 않을까라고 생각이 좀 드는 부분이 있고 IMDRF에서 그 규제기관 간의 그 부작용 데이터를 교환하기 위해서 공통 데이터 세트를 개발을 하긴 했거든요. 근데 그것도 실제로 저도 봤는데 그거를 이제 하기 위해서는 기업에 대한 그 기밀 정보들이 조금 포함되어 있기 때문에 이거에 이제 업체들이 동의하지 않으면 그걸 또 교류하기가 쉽지 않은 그런 부분이 사실은 있습니다. 그래서 그런 부분이 조금 해결이 돼야 되지 않나라고 생각이 듭니다.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, from my experience when I compare the air to valves in Korea and Veterans Affairs, I found that the UDIs are different between US and Korea, even though we use the same model from the very big, global company, but the UDI was different, so we cannot compare those models directly. But it is not actually, but this kind of the research is so rare, so many one do not know this problem, and then this is the reason why we need more standardization between the countries. Do you have any further comments or opinions on this? Please.
Yeah, from the perspective of the industry, I would like to say that, of course, the international harmonization of the regulation is not optional, but also essential, I think. In particular, adopting a standardized approach to adverse event reporting based on the device association with the event. This is very important point because this is comes from the criteria which adverse event is reported with the devices. So I think that this ensures the consistency in risk assessment and facilitates effective communication with the regulatory authorities across different regions. So this approach plays a critical role in global risk management and help build a reliable and internationally aligned data foundation, I think.
Great. So I think we all have that. We all have the consensus that we need more collaborations and harmonizations for medical device vigilance system because the one single country can, will not be enough for this. So as a last question, I'd like to ask about the more future. So we anticipated new changes in vigilance using AI and digital technologies, as we heard from yesterday's presentation. And how are industry and regulatory authorities preparing to respond to these new phases? Do you have any Singapore, HSA is thinking about the adoption of AIs to deal with the adverse reports from the for the device, right?
Yes. So the AI model we are exploring to adopt is initially it's going to be for AE terminology codes. So we are looking at company submission based on the event description and the information. The AI is supposed to come up with few AE terminology code suggestions. But we're still in the works of it. But I believe AI would be the next step to adopt because of the increasing number of AE reports.
Yeah, And in my experience, I'm trying to investigate the possibility of AIs to identify the adverse events of device from the medical text, or the EHR or unstructured medical notes. So, most of the adverse events of the devices are not recorded in the structured EMR as a diagnosis or a lab test. So, the one of the field we can use AI is that identification of the adverse events automatically from the note system. But do you have any further questions or comments or opinions or experience on this? Yes, please.
Okay, for us, we have in mind to integrate the AI-driven analytics into our macro system. So we aim to move from a system that only collects data to one that actively help us make sense of it. A true regulatory intelligent platforms with AI, we expect to able to detect early safety signals and trends, such as repeated malfunctions from a specific model or batch. And then from that, they are able to use predictive risk modeling to forecast which device, hospital, or environments are more likely to face any issues. So, and then we hopefully can apply the risk-based prioritizations so that high impact or high risk cases are reviewed and addressed first. But throughout this planning, so we also place a strong emphasis on governance, transparency, and human oversight. So, because any AI system will be supported by our officer decisions, we don't want AI to replace humans, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So. I think it's time to close this session, and thanks to all our panelists for sharing such a thoughtful and insightful perspectives from various in the field and then various countries. And this discussion reminded us the importance of medical device vigilance, and then we found that this is a shared responsibility between us. Recurrent collaboration between regulators and industry and healthcare institutions across the world. I hope this session contribute to the continued our dialogues and global harmonizations efforts in this important field. And thanks once again for joining this session. Thanks.